a lot of people ask us, since we have a Sprinter-based RV, which actually is kind of top-heavy, if we are just bouncing down the road.
And sometimes we are.
And sometimes we are, but we think we found a solution for this. I'm Paul.
I'm James.
And of course, our travel companion, Chompers.
Who does not like to bounce.
No, she hates it. We found some solutions of a new stabilizer bar, shocks, and things that are called Sumo Springs, which are basically big rubber inserts to help cushion the ride. So I'm going to do what I can myself as far as installing the Sumo Springs, and then I'm going to take it to a shop to put on the new rear shocks and stabilizer bar, and we will see if we have finally fixed the
increasingly difficult tippy-tippy
of our RV, so stay tuned. We've had our Sprinter for over 4 years and have taken it across country many times. And we've noticed as time has gone by, it's gotten a lot more tippier side to side when we pull in and out of campsites. After doing research online, I discovered that there are 3 main components of the rear suspension of the Sprinters. There are the 2 shock absorbers. There is this sway bar that kind of connects on either side of the rear axle. I guess that helps with swaying. And then there are rubber stops that the suspension will hit. You'll see those up there that help the rig when it bottoms out, so that if it really bottoms out on something, it hits these rubber blocks. So I started to do my research and found that you can replace all 3 items, and it's supposed to make the Sprinter a much more stable van. And again, our shocks are 4 years old, so they've also probably had a lot of wear and tear on them. Up front, I decided not to replace the shocks, but I'm going to replace this rubber stop with what's called a Sumo Spring. So these are the rubber blocks that go on the rear suspension. They're much longer, and so the suspension actually will sit on these rubber blocks, and they're called Sumo Springs. They kind of help cushion the rear suspension, so they kind of add to the softness or cushioning of the rear wheels when they bottom out. So those are supposed to help with kind of bottoming out. The second piece of the upgrade is these. These are rear shocks. They're Falcon shocks. They're supposed to be heavier duty than the ones that came with it. And again, our shocks are a little over 4 years old and we've done a lot of driving, so I'd imagine ours need replacement. The third piece is this heavy duty sway bar, which is of course supposed to help the rig in its swaying from side to side. For the front suspension, we have what are called Sumo Springs, and again, these will replace that little rubber spot, and the front axles will actually rest on these and will cushion the ride. So here it is, all the components we'll be putting in the front and rear suspension to help with the tippiness. So putting in the front Sumo Spring looked pretty easy, so I'm going to attempt to do this one myself. Since this is tight quarters, I actually taped the bolt into the socket so that I could push the bolt onto the screw in very tight quarters without dropping it. If I dropped it, it would have been stuck in that little area and I'd have to fish it out. So this was kind of a little trick I did to help. So here I am lowering the rig onto the Sumo Spring, and you can see it will be in constant contact. And the Sumo Spring is just here to assist the shocks, so you don't have to replace your whole front strut, which actually is a pretty costly undertaking. When it comes to the rear suspension, I realized it was nothing I could do, but I was able to take it to our local tire place, and we put it up on the stabilizers, and they were able to replace all 3 items in the back.
Hey everybody, we have all the suspension work completed. We're going to go take the RV out now and drive the streets.
Give it a
and
shot.
See if we can get some turns, some dips, and see how it feels.
Assess if it was worth the effort. This test is just backing out of a driveway over a curb and seeing how quickly the rig recovers when it kind of pitches side to side when you don't hit a curb straight on. In this test, we're going down a straightaway that has dips in the road to see how much the rig bounces. In the past, we've really had to slow down for these and wait for the RV to recover. But you'll see in this last bit, James actually speeds up and drives very fast over 2 dips. And it recovers quite nicely. Here we go to a gusty wind area to check out how crosswinds affect the RV and if it bounces back. And finally we head to the interstate and see how it does going at high speed, especially when we are passing semis, which in the past have made the whole RV kind of side to side tippy. And here we have really no issues.
All right, the verdict, we're back.
Well, we tested in a bunch of different surfaces, so backing out of the driveway and making slow turns, it still goes side to side, but it recovers much quicker. It doesn't like bounce, 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 bounce. On straightaways, you went through a couple of dips.
I think on the straightaways, when there's a dip, and when we went on the interstate and at higher speeds, I think it recovers very, very quickly, taking like a smooth turn. Maybe I can take this 40-mile-an-hour turns at 40 now.
No, please don't. The other thing that I thought is we drove on a stretch, a gusty wind area, and usually we have to slow down and we can feel it tipping, and you didn't even really realize it was windy.
I think at higher speeds, I think when you're pulling in and out of a gas station or a parking lot and you're turning and getting that dip, I just don't think, it might recover a little quicker, but I just think...
Yeah, it doesn't seem to keep going and going. I mean, it still tips, but it recovers.
These RVs are top heavy. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But it's the standard driving and driving through lights and straight shots and interstate and side winds. That's the...
So my question is, what do you think? Was it worth it? Was it worth all the effort?
Worth it.
Definitely?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we do so much open road driving, and especially windy conditions, it's really, I think, going to make a big difference for us. So I'm kind of excited.
And I think Chompers was happy. She didn't bounce around as much.
She didn't bounce in my lap, which was really cool.
She's a 6.5-pound ping pong ball, so she's never thrilled about bouncy roads ever.
Hey, if you found this information interesting, please do me a favor, hit the like button down there. You can subscribe to our channel, and if you hit that little bell and turn your notifications on, you will get notified every time we upload a new video.
Or, doing like repairs, not just travels, all this crap.
All this stuff. RV life. So check out our channel. Thanks for watching.
Take care, everybody.
As always, travel safely. Bye.
Bye-bye.